Good morning, guys. Welcome back. Happy Monday. Welcome. Welcome back to the stream. What's up, Margin? Brian English. Hamster. Anna. Dino. 3D printer. Buenos dias, Ruben. Morning, guys. Jimmy pumps as I go live. That's over. How's everyone's weekend? What do we do? Knicks, yeah. Knicks out. A little bit more of a Rangers fan than a Knicks fan, but would have been cool to see them both stay alive. Rangers, Panthers, yeah. Rangers, Panthers. It's going to be good, man. I'll be at Game 2. Game 2 in New York. Morning, everyone. EDC Las Vegas. Was that this weekend? I think I saw some videos. Yeah, it was. How was it? Good time? I'm sure it was a good time. Hung out in Palm Springs. Nice. Very nice. My weekend, good. Hung out with friends. That's about it. Back at it now. Monday morning. Waiting for some people to jump in. We'll give it a few minutes. Rangers the tickets at MSG are not cheap, but it's a opportunity. Hopefully not once in a lifetime, but it's definitely something I've been planning on doing, so should be fun, a lot of fun. Morning, everyone. Sent my son to London and Italy. Nice. I've never been. I still have never been to Europe. It's a trip that I definitely need to plan at some point in my life. London, Italy. I'd like to see Switzerland. Knicks gave it away, yeah. All right. All right, guys. Let's get started. Welcome back. Good morning. Here we go. So, this week is Nvidia earnings. Nvidia earnings this week. Am I a Knicks fan or that's two different sports, but I would say I'm a Knicks fan. I'm a Giants fan. Knicks, Giants, Mets, Rangers. I know it's a little bit mixed up, but that's what my father was. Usually it's Islanders, Mets, sort of Long Island. But, yeah. All right. So, today, or this week, is most likely going to be mainly focused on NVIDIA's earnings. NVIDIA earnings on Wednesday. And that is definitely going to have, some effect on a lot of semiconductor stocks. So, a lot of semiconductors out there. A lot of interesting charts, actually, when you look at the semiconductors. A lot of flags. A lot of pullbacks over that Thursday, Friday move after that Wednesday upside, and a lot of, I believe, pullback long ideas to definitely be watching for. Now, it's all going to make or break depending on what NVIDIA does on earnings, right? If NVIDIA goes up on earnings, I would assume you see a lot of semiconductor strength. If you see NVIDIA go down on earnings, I'm assuming you're going to see a lot of those semiconductors break down. So it's all follow the leader here, which is a little bit difficult this week, right? Monday, Tuesday is sort of the calm before the storm. Into that NVIDIA earnings on Wednesday. The semiconductors look strong this morning, and some hot names. You have MU getting an upgrade from Bank of America, I believe. And so you're seeing some strength on those semiconductors in the AM, in the pre-market this morning. But we need to definitely be aware of that NVIDIA earnings on Wednesday. I'll pull up this calendar in just a second. So let's start with the, we'll just start with the earnings calendar here, and then we'll jump into the economic. You guys can see right here. This is the earnings calendar. And today you do have that Palo Alto, PANW. I know some people have been watching this chart. So PANW does report after close today, so make sure you're aware of that. Zoom, I don't really know what trip.com is, and that's really about it. Zoom and PANW, not interested in Zoom. PANW, sort of interesting, something to watch there. If you remember, that was the stock that Nancy Pelosi bought before or after the previous earnings drop. So something to be watching there. Tomorrow, pre-market, Lowe's, Macy's, AutoZone, some retail names there. Toll Brothers, little housing, little house builders there after hours on Tuesday. Wednesday morning, Target, not sure what the hell that is. TJX, TJ Maxx, nothing really that I'm interested in. And then you guys can see right here, here's your big Wednesday day. Wednesday after hours. You can see right here, Nvidia, Snowflake, Elf. It's that makeup company that's been doing pretty hot. Some big ones there. BJ's. That's really about it. Really nothing I care much about after that. So really, the biggest one is right here. Right, this is really the main event of the week. It's the Nvidia. It's definitely going to affect the Nasdaq, a lot of tech stocks, and definitely all of the semiconductor stocks. So this is a big one, right there, right in the middle of the week. So that's that. We need to be aware of that. Here is the economic calendar, and man, do the FOMC members feel like talking this week. This is something I have never seen. I have never seen this right here. Not sure if you have, but I surely have not. That is a lot of members. So, Bostic, Waller, Barr, Jefferson, Mester, Yellen, Waller again, Barkin, Williams, Bostic, Barr, Mester. Not sure if we are really focused on this on the intraday or not. I would hate to be in a trade and one of these members saying something causes a reaction against me. I couldn't quite tell you whether that does occur. I will say the only ones that are talking after the market opens are right here. So that's sort of a positive, right? Really, the only ones you really got to worry about is this one and maybe these two, right? Because everything else is sort of pre-market. So like today pre-market, that'll be done by market open. You'd maybe want to watch the 10:30 and 2 o'clock today, right? Tomorrow, pre-market, right? And then this is the only one that's during market open tomorrow, right? This is really the only one that's during market open tomorrow is FOMC member Barr speaking. So if you're just taking some intraday trades and you're not swing trading, then really it's just these two that you really need to be concerned about. Everything else is pre-market and after hours. Would PANW affect semiconductors? Probably not. It's not really a semiconductor name. A little bit more. I mean, tech as a whole could be sort of affected, but I don't really expect PANW to affect semiconductors. No, this is a little bit more cybersecurity. I don't expect that to do much there. Nvidia will be the one. So let's go back real quick to that. You think it will affect margin? I don't know. I'm not sure. Why don't we take a look? We can take a look right now. PA&W previous earnings were straight down. Let's see what Nvidia did that day. So that is February 20th. February 20th. I don't know if that's really because of PA&W, but possibly. I mean, you can be aware of it, right? You can be aware of it. Let me pull up the charts for you. February 20th. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but cybersecurity and semiconductors, possibly. February 20th was right here. That was a Monday. Not sure. I would say no. That's my best guess. I would say no. Different sectors, not really connected, but you could keep an eye on it. Let's move on. All right. Let me go back to the economic calendar here. Right there. All right. Wednesday, existing home sales, crude oil inventories, FOMC minutes. FOMC minutes Wednesday. We could keep a little bit of an eye on it. Minutes never really is that major move. It's definitely something that is watched, but really just creates volatility. Thursday, unemployment claims, manufacturing PMI, services PMI, and that's pretty much the end of the week right there. Really nothing too major this week on the economic side. Just a lot of members speaking this week, right? You got the minutes. You got a lot of members speaking today, tomorrow, and that's really about the major stuff. Everything else, nothing that I think is, crazy to watch. Nothing that over and exceeds the importance of the Nvidia earnings, in my opinion. I think the Nvidia earnings will be the major mover of the market this entire week. All right? All right, let's jump into the charts. Let's do some technicals. There's some pretty clear reads here, some pretty clear holds that I want you to see that happened last week on the downside move. So, last week, you can see, or right? We had the morning CPI push that failed right around this 18,550. Now, after the market, heading into market open, we had a little bit of downside, right? A little bit of downside, and then market open, we broke over that 18,550. We broke over this 18,600. We held above this 18,660, right? That was all on Wednesday. This was Wednesday's move right here. We got above that 550. We got above that 600. We got above and held above that 660. That was Wednesday's move. That was the upside move on the market. Now, over the following few days, right, we had a little bit of downside come in right here. Here's your next 2 days. A little bit of downside, a little bit of a retracement, which is totally normal, in my opinion. Here's your Fibonacci retracements, and you can see from the lows to the highs, you've retraced just about to that 61.8 retracement on the Fibonacci's, which is totally normal. There's really nothing bizarre and crazy, and should not be that concerned about a little bit of downside after this crazy move to the upside. So very clean. Now, what level held on Friday that gives me a lot of confidence that we are still trying to move higher? That's right here, guys. It's very clear. 18,550, that was your CPI high, okay? 18,550 was the high of the pre-market on Wednesday, the high of the CPI move on Wednesday, and look at how perfect you held that level on Friday, right? You had a big drop into that level and a major reaction back to the upside. You basically eliminated that downside move within the same hour of the day, right? You had a 15-minute candle down, a 15-minute candle hold, a 15-minute candle hold, and the next 15-minute candle goes straight back up and reclaim that downside move, right? So it took about, that's exactly 1 hour, right? It took about 1 hour for the market to drop, hold, and pop. That's the drop, pop. That's the drop, lock, and pop right there. So that was very clear, right? That was right at that CPI high. That was right at the 18,550, and look at the hold that came in right there. Very clean, very nice. I still believe that is creating upside on this market. Now, this morning, we can see we are trying to hold above this 18,660 level. That's this low right here from that late day Wednesday move. That's some of this trouble that we had between Thursday, Friday. And you can see right now you have a little bit of a flip here, right? You had some rejections here, right? Some rejections here previously that are now turning into, my opinion, a little bit of a support level. If we hold above this 18,660 today, I think you are heading to the upside, all right? I think this will head to the upside if the market can maintain this 18,660 zone. That is the previous lows right here. That is some lows here from Thursday. That's where we found some rejections between Thursday, Friday. That's where we failed on Friday, moving to the downside. And now we are back above it, right? We are back above it, and we are holding above it right here in the pre-market. So if that turns into a sturdy demand here and a sturdy support level on any pullbacks, I think that is definitely a level to watch for some long entries today. If we even get below that, I actually like the longs even better. If we come back down to that 600 or maybe even back down to that 550, I'm still confident that you could find these longs. For me, I will continue to look to the upside, stay with the trend of the market, stay with the very strong trend of the upside that we've seen until we break under that Friday low, right? I'm not going to start trying to short after a major CPI move, a good CPI reading, right? Don't forget about that. It was a solid CPI reading that definitely helped the market higher. I'm not going to try to short into pullbacks that will be, in my opinion, long opportunities on slow little downside moves. So I'm going to continue to look for where the pullbacks and where the longs. 18,550, 18,6, 18,660. Definitely three levels I'm watching today. To the upside, it's very clear here at the previous all-time high. That's 18,709. Right, that was our previous all-time high before we made new all-time highs on Thursday. We had 18,709. Let's keep an eye on that. And then let's watch this high around this 18,740. All right. I think right now you're looking at a pretty clear, I guess some would call it a little inverse head and shoulder. I think that's potentially what you're looking at here. But I would say as long as this NASDAQ is holding over 18,660, there is reason to look for the upside continuation. If we break back under 18,660, you'll probably see a little bit of drama back down towards that 600, which I would be watching again for some potential holds. All right. That's the NASDAQ futures. QQQ, very similar. You guys can see right here. Look at this QQQ move. We moved right back down to our previous all-time high, guys. Remember this level, 449.34. 449.34 was the previous all-time high on the QQQ before Wednesday's CPI. What was the exact level we held on the pullback on Friday? We held that exact level on Friday, right? This was your previous all-time high. That was your exact rejection point in the pre-market on CPI. We held that 447 demand zone. We popped higher on Wednesday. And where have we pulled back to now? Right back to that previous all-time high. And look at that reaction back to the upside off that level on the QQQ. That is very important. And that is something you have to be paying attention to. I would think that the NASDAQ, the QQQ, will continue to do pullback longs, to want to stay higher, to want to be resilient to the upside, as long as it is above this previous all-time high. Okay? There is really no reason to look for downside continuation, to look for shorts that last a long period of time if we are holding above previous all-time highs. It just logically does not make sense. Okay, if the market pulled back over 2 days right to a previous all-time high and has seen this reaction to the upside off of it, right, why are we looking to try to short this market, right? That just doesn't make much sense. Now, of course, there will be short-term short opportunities like scalp shorts, right? There's always going to be scalp shorts every single day, regardless of what the market's doing. There always is scalp opportunities to the downside. But the overarching theme of this market is not short a level and just, that this thing's going to continue to fall. That is not the theme of the market right now. So I want to stay on the right side. The right side of this market is looking for pullback longs, and it looks like it continues to be for a very long period now. So this week, the last 2 days of last week, in my eyes, was nothing more than an opportunity to buy some entries on the pullback, and that is what we are seeing today. 449.35, right? Very strong hold there, previous all-time high. 450.75, we're back above that, and we're right back above that 452.20. Look at how that 452.20 is reacting here. You had previous support here, you had these lows right here, and look at how this is holding in the pre-market today. So 452.20 is a very important level. If we pull back to it, I'd look for those longs there, 452.20. If we break under that, there's a little something here around that 451.40, but I like this 450.75 level a little bit better. To the upside, it's 453, very clear here, 453. You're right at it right now. If you hold above 453 today, I think that is your reason to look for the move into these highs right here, 454. So definitely watching this 453 today. If you get a hold above 453 today, I would assume that pushes us towards the 454. That would be a hold back above this high. That would be a hold back above some of these rejections and these lows. That would be a hold back above this rejection here from Wednesday. If you hold right here above 453, I think that is a reason to look for more upside on the QQQ. All right? But of course, we need to be careful of that rejection as well. ES. So the ES pulled back to our 53.10 level. If we look at this ES right here, you can see 53.10. That was one of our major demands. We've had that on our charts all week. You can see, look at that hold right there at 53.10 on the ES. We had that CPI high around 5,300, and that is absolutely still holding as well. If we zoom in a little bit more, I'll give you some idea of what we did since then. You can see very strong hold right here, right there, 53.10. Nice hold on that level right there. We got back above this level right here, this 53.24, right? We had some previous holds, rejections. We're back above that level. And then we have this 53.30, which we can see right here. We have holds, rejections, and look at this hold right now at 53.30 on the ES in the pre-market right now. So what am I looking for today? Well, I'll look for pullbacks to 53.30. I'll look for pullbacks to 53.24. I'll look to see if the market pulls back to some of these previous levels. Do I see some strength coming in? Do I see some long entries off those levels? 53.30, 53.24. Under 24, I think you could see a little bit more downside towards that 10 again, right? If you get under this 24, then maybe there is a little scalp short back down towards that 53.10. To the upside, we can see we're getting a little bit stuck here, right, at some of these previous highs. We can see this is a little bit of a tough level here, 53.37. We see some very clear rejections here in the pre-market, so we definitely don't want to be too aggressive into that level. We know that that could be a rejection point. We see rejections here. We see some difficulty back here on Thursday, and we can see the difficulty that's coming in right now in the pre-market. So if we start to see difficulty at a key level, right, what do we want? We want pullbacks. So pullbacks for me, right here, 53.30, and right here, 53.24. Going to be watching those two levels. If we hold above this 53.37 here in the pre-market, then I would say you're basically coming right into all-time highs, right? Here's your all-time high, right here on that 53.43, and then, of course, that 53.50. All right? ES, I believe, is still in a very nice pullback long sort of setup. Yeah, that 53.10, 53.09 level. That was your, that's a very nice hold. Wasn't that our previous? No, it wasn't our previous. Or on the daily chart, it might have been. No, it wasn't. Okay. But yeah, that was definitely a previous major level here on the 4-hour chart. We can see 53.09. Let's extend that to the left. That was right here. That was this high. That was that 4-hour high right there. 53.09, 53.10 area. The level that held right here was that previous high on that 4-hour chart. Very clean there. That's definitely something I would continue to watch on this ES. SPY, we pulled back to that 427.50, 427 zone. I'll go ahead and share this with you right now. You can see we had that 427.50. We had that 427. We had those as our pullback levels. That's that CPI high. That's that hold from the intraday. And look at the holds that came in there on Friday, right in this zone. It's pretty much this 50-cent zone right here on the ES or on the SPY. You could just do that, right? You really could set it up like this, depending on how you want to set up your charts. But I would say you could set it up just like this, right? That's really a whole 50-cent zone that has some really strong buyers, in my opinion, on the SPY. Between here and here, this 50-cent zone, I think, is a very strong pullback zone to continue to watch on the SPY. All right, so that 527 to 527.50, I think, is a very important level and zone to continue to watch on the SPY if we get pullbacks into it. We got back above the 528, right? We got back above the 529. Very strong hold here at 529. And now we're back above that 530 area. 529.75 is sort of where I have my level. 529.75. The reason I have it there, I'll show you right now. The reason I have it at 529.75 is this low right here and these highs right here. So some Wednesday highs and that Thursday low is right at 529.75. And why is the SPY holding that right now? Look at that. 529.75. That is a hold above this low from Thursday morning, and that is a hold above the Wednesday highs at 529.75. So that is something I will be watching today. Does the SPY hold above that level? Can the SPY hold above this 529.75? If it does, then I would say upside continuation is correct. Upside rejection point is right around this 531. That's something I'd be careful of today. If you get some extended pullbacks, right, 529.75, under that, I'd watch 529, and under that, I would watch sort of this, it'd probably be this whole zone right down here at 527.50, 527, if you get those extended pullback moves. All right? All right. Russell. So the Russell's having some trouble at the 2125, 2130 zone we've marked out. We talked about this red zone up here last week. We've had a little bit of trouble getting through it, but that's to be expected after a major upside move, right? You got a major upside move off demand. You're having a little bit of a pullback off a major rejection point up here, 2125, 2130. What would I be looking for? I'd be looking for this right here. I would like to see, you're sort of holding like this high right here. This 2100 area is holding relatively well. You can see right here, some of these previous wick highs on the Russell. Look at this. Previous high, previous low. Look at that little Russell hold right there. That's interesting, right? So I would actually do it like this. This is how I'd mark this out. I would mark it out just like that. I would say anywhere within, and I got to extend this over a little bit. Anywhere within these highs and these highs will be an area that the Russell can try to hold above, right? Anywhere within this 10-point range is where I'd look to see if the Russell can maintain, right? This is your two Thursdays. This is back on Thursday, May 10th, right here. May 14th, you can see very clear double top highs, which turned into a support right there at 2096. And then you have this high from Tuesday, May 7th, this high from Monday, May 13th at that 2090. And you can see right in that zone is where I'd be watching to see if the Russell can maintain. If we fall back below that zone, you will come back down to that 2070. Okay? Dow Jones, strong, man. Strong. Very strong. To me, the Dow is moving into all-time highs here. I would say this is where the Dow is targeting, right? This is the target it has. It has that 4358. 4358, that's your all-time high right here, 4358. I mean, it looks to me like it's heading there. I'd be sort of shocked if it doesn't. So you can see right there. For now, you just, you sort of want to pull back. You aren't quite getting one. You can see we are holding around this. It looks like 40,000 is giving you some reaction, huh? Yeah, 40,000 sort of doing a little psychological, key level hold, because there really is no level at 40,000 in the past. It's just sort of, hey, that's Dow 40,000. So for now, Dow 40,000 is sort of holding on this move. I would say you could watch the Dow 40,000 level. It's not really a level that has been respected in the past, right? If we go to the left, it's just sort of slicing through price action. So I don't really see much at that Dow 40,000 to trust it too much. The only level here that has previous, reactions at it is right here. It's the 39.7, right? 39.7, 39.7, 39.7, 39.7, 39.7. I mean, there's major levels there that's definitely a level to play off of. But 40,000, really don't see, right? This is what you're looking for, guys. You're looking for these types of reactions in the past at our levels to trust that level, right? I can see right in front of my face that's 5 times the Dow has respected or reacted off 39,700. I have not seen that on 40,000, right? You have a little bit of a reaction here, but that's so short term. It's not really anything that's been reacting in the past. So you could try to trust it, but you need to understand, hey, this is probably not as major of a level as, let's say, 39.7. So 39.7, 40,000, 40,350. Those are the levels I'd watch on the Dow Jones. All right, we got 1,800 people here. We got 500 likes. Before we get into some stocks, I'm going to first take a sip of my water. And then second, I'm going to wait for some people to press the like button. So why don't we do that? Do that real quick. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Good morning, Tony. All right. So let's continue here. Tesla. So one thing I will say about Tesla, is it really wants to hold its daily 20. That's one thing I will say. So if we go to the 5-minute chart, look at the last 2 trading days of last week on this blue line. See this blue line right here? Right? See that blue line right there? That thick boy? That's the daily 20. And man, has there been a opportunity to just blindly long Tesla at the daily 20 the last 2 days of last week? I mean, if you just said, hey, the Tesla's at the 20, I'm going long, you made some money, right? You made some serious money doing that last week. So very nice there, right? That is something I would not forget about, right? I would not forget about it. If we do see Tesla back at this daily 20 at some point in the future, yeah, probably something to be paying attention to, right? Very important there. So that's the first thing I wanted to point out. You can very clearly see Tesla trying to grind its way higher off that 20 SMA, all right? Very clean right there, something to be watching. Now, if we zoom in a little bit more, right, we can see some key levels. The first one would be 176, and we saw 176 again hold on Friday of last week. This was a previous long that I took on Tesla off 176, and it sort of failed that supply high at 182, which we'll talk about in a second. But once again, we can see that 176 trying to hold on Tesla. So let's watch 176, right? Let's watch 171, and let's watch this daily 20. I'm going to need pullbacks to those levels if I even want to consider any type of long entry, right? There is definitely no merit, no reason to be longing Tesla in the random area, okay? If you're going to long Tesla in this sort of, in my opinion, shitty upside move, really not that strong, but if you're going to try to find a long, it better be off a key level. So it better be off either 176, it better be off that daily 20, or it better be off that 171. If it's not off one of these levels, you're probably going to lose, okay? Because you're just sort of trading in the middle of nowhere. So I would say 176. I'd say the daily 20. I'd say 171 are 3 spots to be watching this week to see if there's longs. To the upside, I'd be very aware of this major rejection, 182. That is a very clear rejection spot from Wednesday of last week. And above that, 176 is definitely going to be a heavy spot for Tesla if we even can get up to that level here in the near future. So right now, I'd say Tesla is sort of an iffy trade. I do like how that daily 20 is maintaining, but I really don't trust it that much more than just holding shares. Upside continuation has been short. It's been there. It's been aggressive, but it's been short-lived, right? You get upside aggressive moves, but it has been short-lived, right? Short-lived moves to the upside. Sort of squeezes, to say. Furus, 182. I don't know how you can long 180. Right, that right there just doesn't make any sense, right? Because longing 180 into 186 would basically be like saying ignore this rejection on Wednesday, right? How do you ignore that? How could you possibly ignore this right here? if you're long 180. If you're long 180, you're basically 2 points away from a major rejection. So I'd be very careful with that. Watch out for that 182, that Wednesday high. All right, NVIDIA. Man, this to me just looks like it's doing the 4-hour dance and going to, going to heaven here. I mean, that's sort of what it looks like to me. If it didn't have earnings, I'd be putting a pretty large amount on this long here today on NVIDIA. It probably ends up doing it regardless, even though earnings are approaching, unless NVIDIA somehow reports really bad earnings. But this just looks so technically clean. This just looks like such a, fundamental in the way of it's sticking to how it should do. It's sticking to what it should do. It's such a clean move. Look at this, right? Look at how well this has just sort of done the upside stair-stepping move on NVIDIA, right? It's just a very clean upside move. Right now, you can see we had that squeeze, right? We had that squeeze through that 8 off that 880 demand. We had that squeeze last week. Where have we pulled back to? Which is what we should do after upside, right? We pull back, we consolidate, we do it again, right? We pull back, we consolidate, we do it again. You don't go like this, okay? The market does not go like this, okay? It goes up, it pulls back, it consolidates, it goes up again. It pulls back, it consolidates, it goes up again, okay? That's how the market works. So you see this upside, consolidation, going up again. What are we doing now? We've pulled back, and look at where we're holding. This 922 level. Very, very key level. Let me go ahead and go back to our charts here. You can see if we go to the hourly chart right here. I'm going to delete this for just 1 second. Right here. This 922 previous high. Look at where that held on Friday. That's a perfect hold of a previous high here. Previous highs. Perfect hold, right? Upside off that level now. So what am I watching now? Well, the level I'm going to watch now is 936 today. Okay, 936, very important. 936, if you guys remember this, if you've been watching NVIDIA, you should remember this 936 level. That was this high, that was these lows, and that was this 4-hour high right here. That is also, if you remember, the level that held on the upside move on Wednesday. Okay, if you remember this, we held that 936 on Wednesday, which gave us that move higher, that leg higher. So what are we looking at right now? On the 5-minute chart on NVIDIA, sort of watching to see if we hold above that 936. We're sort of trying to right now. It's putting a little bit of a dance here at 936. You can see it's trying to maintain that. So I would watch that 936. If we do not hold the 936, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. If we do not hold the 936, I would look for a pullback to 930, which is right here. You can see those 930 holds. And I would look for a pullback to 924. Okay? 930, 924 are two pullback levels I'd look for on NVIDIA today if there is some downside that comes in. Right? I would look for this play right here on both of those levels. 930, 924. Looking for pullback longs on those levels. If we do not hold 936. If we hold 936, I think that is a very strong hold and would probably help us towards some of these previous highs. In my opinion, this 948 level looks a little heavy, right? 948 right here, 948 right here. So 948.50, 950, going to be a tough level. IV will absolutely be extremely high on NVIDIA. So I would say you better be careful trading this one. For all you guys that have maybe some smaller accounts, I would probably stay away from NVIDIA this week. There's other semiconductors to trade instead of NVIDIA, which we're about to talk about. But look at sort of this 936. I just wanted to make sure you're aware of these NVIDIA levels. This 936 level looks very intriguing to start the morning. Something I will absolutely be watching here. AMD. So AMD is one that I don't love of the semiconductors. There's some other ones that I like a little bit more on the trades than AMD this week. I want to do my best here to try to explain why I don't like AMD. While I liked, some of the volatility that it created, and I will look for it again. Doesn't mean I'm just not going to look for it. But I'll sort of explain my concerns on an AMD here. I'm a little bit concerned about how much AMD will continue before NVIDIA earnings into these levels up here, okay? I'm saying this because I think it could sort of stall before NVIDIA earnings, right? You might just get some AMD chop fest before Wednesday, okay? Today, tomorrow, nothing much on AMD. Wednesday hits, which is right here. Let's just call this Wednesday right here. This is NVIDIA earnings, and then, right? And then you might get a move on AMD. But before Wednesday, before NVIDIA earnings, I am concerned of AMD just sort of doing nothing. And I'll say, and it's not just because of the earnings, it's also because of where it is. I'm going to delete this 165 for just a second. The reason I say that is because you have a very clear high at this 171, right? Very heavy level there. And you're sitting right below both the 50 and 100 SMA, right? You see this? So you have a very, very heavy level here at 171. You have a very strong level here at 162. And you have the 150 SMA sitting right above current price action. So what do I think the most likely outcome is here for the next 2 days on AMD? I think it is that we stay within this channel, okay? This is my most likely outcome over the next 2 days, right in here. That is my opinion for now. I would say if you can get to the extremes, you can look to play the extremes. If you can get up to 171, I could look to short that. If you drop into 162, I would look to long it, right, and play those extremes. But I would not be messing around with AMD right here. That is a death sentence, in my opinion. The only maybe level that you can get off, trade off in the short term is 165. 165 would be a maybe level in sort of the short term. It looks like it could be down to like this 164.60, right around here. You can see right here, this hold, some of this pre-market, this hold here, this 164.60. Maybe there's something in here, right? But I would say to be safe and to not be sorry, I'd want to be trading here or here, okay? All right. SMCI. Watching 900 today. Looking to see if 900 tries to hold today. Took my profits on this on Friday after just overall a relative weakness. I said, you know what? Let me take my profits and let me look for this next week. I think that was the right call, and I'm happy I did that because I can come into this week a little bit more clear. So I'm watching this 890, and I'm watching this 900 zone. So if I go back to the 5-minute chart on Wednesday, I can sort of spot this. See this little 890 here? This little hold right there on SMCI at 890. I'm sorry, 880, my bad. 880, right? You can see right there that 880 to 900 zone. I'm going to be watching that today. You can see, if we go to the 5-minute chart, look at sort of what happened at that 880. I'm sorry, that 888. My bad. I'm all mixed up here. 888, 890 zone, right? Look at how that sort of held at that end of day. So I'm going to be sort of watching that. I would prefer to just see it back over 900, right? That would really make the most sense to me. If it just can get back over 900, that would be something I'd look for today. I would really like to see it just try to hold back over 900. That's really the clean move that I'll be looking for, right? So you can see you're sort of getting this downward action, right? You're sort of getting this downward action. I still think just a pullback after the big move, but I need to see us probably get above 900 and really start to push before I get interested again. So let's watch 900. Let's keep an eye on that today. If SMCI can start to hold and very cleanly hold over 900, I would look for that long again. Watching the 50 SMA and watching 950. Okay. All right. Some stocks that I like. First one, MU, sort of interesting. Dropping right now, obviously probably because of the big gap up. But I do like, and I continue to like, how MU has been stair-stepping to the upside here. So here's what I'm watching today on MU. You can see right here our stair steps. That's stair step 1. That's stair step 2. And this is stair step 3. All right, we can see how we have this is really 1. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so you can see here how we've stair-stepped to the upside. We have turned previous highs into new lows. Okay, So what am I looking for today? I'm looking for one of these previous highs to turn into a new low. And so the ones that I'll be watching today is number one, 124.50. That turned into a low here on Friday. Previous high, new low. I'm going to be looking to see if this 127.50 can turn into a low today. If 127.50 can turn into a low today, then I would be interested to see if we can long this trade, right? 127.50, I want to see, does this turn into a low today on MU? If it does, I would be looking for that upside towards that 130. If we fail under this 127.50, and maybe we do need to gap fill here, I would be watching this 125.50 again. This could be an interesting level down to the downside. Now, the only thing I'd be concerned about on MU is that you are right into that 130 level, right? That is going to be a major level here. So is it possible that this stair-stepping upside ends at this 530, at this 130? It is, right? It is. I would be aware of that. I'd be sort of cautious of that and keep your longs with tight stops, because it is possible that this is that 130 high that sort of just stalls this upside move, right? It did it in the past, so I'd be careful of that. You might need maybe a little bit more extended of consolidation downside before you get that move. So 130 could be a little bit heavy. I would not want to be long anywhere near it. And because of that, I would want pullbacks, right? Because of that 130, I would want pullbacks. I would want deeper pullbacks, larger opportunities. So you could watch the 127.50 today, right? I would also say let's watch that 124.50 for that pullback long. TSM, very interesting chart. Very interesting chart. 4-hour chart. We can see the little 4-hour flag that's been happening, right? Right here, you can see this little 4-hour flag that's been going on TSM. If we go to the 30-minute chart, I think we watch this very closely today, okay? I think it's just a very clean thing to be watching. 150.5, previous high, previous support coming in here all last week. You have this little downtrending move, right? Little downside move. Let's watch how that 150.5 holds up, and let's just be careful of 154, okay? This might be where we have to consolidate before anything happens. If we get above 154, I'd watch it. If we get below 150.5, I'd watch it. But for now, I think this is a pullback long at 150.5. Does not mean that TSM has to go straight up today. That's not what that means. It just means that there is a general hold level that I would continue to watch here for that eventual upside move. Not sure when that occurs. It might have to be after Nvidia earnings, right? It might have to be after Nvidia earnings. So what could TSM do over the next 2 days? This. Really build a strong consolidation before that upside move. I would say you need to get over 154, but this is without a doubt an interesting pullback into previous lows or into previous highs for that potential flag breakout. Something I would absolutely be watching and sort of stalking here on TSM. All right. The other and last one I'm going to go over on the semiconductor front is ARM. And I'm just going to show you ARM because I know a lot of people have been interested in what ARM's been doing. And ARM has been in a little uptrending move. And every pullback to the previous highs has resulted in some kind of an opportunity. And this could be this could be about the same thing here, right? Previous highs, right? You have 3 sort of stair steps here. The one that we're currently at is 110. I would say look at this 110 level and look to see if it holds today. You're in this general uptrending move. You can see sort of right here. You're sort of been in this uptrending move. A little bit of a fail there on earnings, but right back inside of it. And if you want to hold this uptrend, which is very possible, I would say it could come off this 110 right here. All right, I'd say watch this 110. If 110 starts to really hold and there is maybe a positivity on Nvidia earnings, this could be an ARM level to really be watching. So I'd watch 110. I'd look to see what it does today. If it fails below it, I would probably leave it alone. But if you can start to see that 110 really maintain, it is something I would watch on ARM. All right. I want to go to Microsoft because Microsoft's been doing this 4-hour dance for some time now, and I think it's continuing to just do the same thing. You can see right here on Microsoft, we've been getting these little 4-hour flags to the upside, and here's another one right here, right? There really is one here as well. So you've gotten like 3-4 hour flags as you moved higher. You've got an upside, flagging, upside, flagging, upside, flagging. This probably is the exact same move here on Microsoft again. I would watch 420 very closely. This is a major 4-hour low. You can see another flag into this, which could absolutely be that next long watch. If Microsoft holds over 420 here, if you can catch a long entry off 420, I think that's very good to watch today. It's really like 419. It's 420, 419. You can see it right here. Previous highs, strong lows, little flag formation. I would absolutely be watching Microsoft off this 420, 419. Okay? Obviously, make sure you have those previous highs marked out. Don't be dumb. You should know that. You should know that at least, right? Have those previous rejection highs marked out. Let's continue. Google has retraced this entire upside move, which is pretty wild. Google is now over this high, this 4-hour high, 177.50. Look at what we're doing here this morning. On Friday, we rejected 177.50. Today, we're above it. If Google holds above 177.50, I would assume this continues higher today, guys. Right? Just look at this. Watch the previous high. That's all you got to watch on Google. If Google holds above 177.50, I think you're seeing upside. Watch Friday's highs on Google. Let's go to Coinbase, because Coinbase has a very interesting daily chart here. If you want to try to catch the next Coinbase move, you might be starting to consider it here soon. This is a very interesting pullback back into, I mean, this is just, doesn't get much cleaner than what you're looking at here on Coinbase, really. This is like sort of just a perfect retracement back to previous high type move, right? You have your big move, you have your retracement, you have it back to those previous highs, you have it back to the 100 SMA. There's a lot of things, and there's a lot of things are making a lot of sense here for whether this is sort of that next entry point for that Coinbase second leg higher, right? You have your first leg, you have your pullback. You have your second leg, you have your pullback. Is this your third leg? Probably. I mean, it would make a lot of sense. And so I would be very closely watching this. 190, 188, previous major highs. You're starting to hold that 100 SMA. It's going to take another Bitcoin move probably for this to really get going. So I will say that, right? It's not just a for sure thing. Bitcoin probably needs to find some positivity. Maybe it also is dependent on Nvidia earnings, right? I've seen cryptocurrencies move off of strong semiconductors in the past. Obviously, you can make that correlation. You could see maybe what Nvidia says about their mining, their Bitcoin mining on their earnings. That could trigger something on Bitcoin here coming soon. You are definitely going to need to see some type of a shift in trend in the short term, right? You can see we've sort of been in this downward structure on Coinbase, so I would like to see that change before getting that aggressive. But you can see that 100 SMA. You can see that willingness to hold it over the last few attempts. It's interesting. I wouldn't say it's just, blindly let's long the hell out of this thing, but it's definitely interesting. I would be watching what happens in this zone here. All right? That's all I'm going to give you. All right, guys. That's probably about it for me. Apple, I'd say look for a pullback to 187. 187 looks very interesting on Apple. I'd continue to monitor that. Oh, I wanted to make sure I pointed out Amazon. Actually, this is one I really wanted to show you because this is actually one I might try to trade here. Amazon, I really like this little 20 SMA hold and this 183 hold here. I definitely will continue to watch Amazon for this sort of breaking out move. Something I will be watching. Amazon 183 and the 20 SMA looks to make a lot of sense here. I would watch this. Amazon 183 and the 20 SMA. Meta, I'm sort of over Meta. I'm not really interested in trading Meta this week. Definitely not today. I need to see something change here. Meta has been sort of dead up here. I don't really know what's going on with Meta. Something's controlling it. I think it's the EU constant, lawsuit nonsense that keeps coming out. It just doesn't seem right to me. You can maybe just look for a break of this little channel here, right? We've had the same levels on our charts, 473, 469.50, right? You can have a little, you could just do something like this, right? Create alert, at or below, create alert, at or above, right? If it gets above or below one of these levels, maybe there's something there, but I mean, right now, what the hell are you going to do here? That looks terrible. All right, guys. That's all I got. If you could, press that like button. I'd appreciate that. We got 1,000, so I appreciate the likes. Appreciate the support. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Monday morning. Hope you have a fantastic Monday trading day. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.